Her Majesty's Ship, or should I say Her Majesty's Ship, is a game that comes out later on this month. This is a preview of it. I can't review it yet because I have no idea how much it costs, so therefore I can't kind of say, yeah, it's worth a buy or not if I don't know the price of it. But what I can do is show you how it works and what to expect if you buy it. Now, it's single player, multiplayer and co-op. But again, because it's early days, I haven't been able to do any of them other than the single player because there's nobody else playing it. So you start off as captain of your ship, and you view it like an ant farm. The sides cut away so you can see like a side view of all the rooms of the ship. You can zoom in, zoom out, and there's also a world map which you'll see shortly. And essentially you have 8 crew members and a couple of officers as you start, and you have a storeroom right at the bottom so you can see what stores you have in. Essentially your stores are made up of food supplies, gunpowder and rum. Obviously you want your rum there, and they're all about keeping your crew morale up and using gunpowder obviously to fight. Every time you fire a cannon you'll use a barrel of gunpowder. Every evening there'll be rations taken by your crew, so you need food. Food is consumed every day as you're going along, and if you run out of food, the morale of the crew will go down and eventually they will mutiny. All these things can be seen at the top of the screen, the crew morale and things like that, how many ships you've got, how many crew members you've got, what the damage is like on your ship, and so on and so forth. Every room on your ship has a purpose, and you will get a quest pretty much randomly thrown at you every few minutes, which generally means you have to access one of these rooms. For example, you might get a quest that says swap the decks, so you have to click on at the top of the deck, the barrels where the scrubbing brushes are, and your men will swap the decks. Now it will take a couple of crew members to do that, so this is where the problems come in, and this is where the management comes into this game. To put a sail up requires 2 crew members, and they stay up the sail as long as you've got the sails up, and you need the sails up obviously to move. So you have to kind of make sure that you have enough crew members left to do the little mundane quests that will keep coming at you. Now the way these quests come at you is in the form of a flag coming down the mast, or the guideline of the mast. You'll see a little flag start at the top of the mast and start falling. Now if it gets to the bottom of the mast and you haven't done whatever that chore is, you will get a penalty, which is usually a minus to your morale, which you just really don't want. But if you get it done, you'll get a plus to your morale and maybe a plus to your captain points, which I'll come to in a minute. So every time you hear the little bell go, you need to check the mast to see what quest is coming down. You click on it, it'll say whatever you need to do. Go to the armory or man overboard, drop the lifeboat, various things like that. You also get a main quest that comes in from the Admiralty. You can request that anytime you like. If you don't request one for a couple of minutes, you'll just be given one. And these are a lot different to the little quests that you do on the ship. And that will be something like go and escort another ship, go and intercept an enemy ship, go and build a fort on an island, which you can do later on in the game, and things like that. Now these give you pretty good rewards. You can get more ration supply, which is your food, your rum and your gunpowder, like I said, and you also get gold. Now you need gold to buy and re-equip your ship stocks, and also to buy new crew members and things like that, and you can only do that when you drop anchor in a port, and you can only do that at obviously friendly ports. So you look at the main map, you'll get a quest, you set sail to wherever you're going, and you look at other ports around there, and you can drop in on other ports as you're going around, like I've just said, as long as they're friendly. You can also capture cities and towns and turn them into your own cities and towns. There's also storms represented by grey clouds that randomly move around the map, and also pirate ships and your enemy. Now your enemy will be the Spanish to start with, and you can decide to have 1 to 4 of different enemy nationalities on the board. Now the object of the game is to get right up to Admiral of the Fleet, and that is the objective of the enemy, and it's game over when either you get there or the enemy gets there first. And you do that by leveling up, and that's done by looking at the top of the screen. You can see your admiral points, and as you level up and get up in rank, you become like captain. You start off, I don't know what your rank is when you start off, but your first one you get is captain, and you also get a new ship. And as you go through, you'll get bigger and bigger ships. You're also able to get promotions for your crew when they become good enough to command their own ship, and then you can command a fleet of ships as you go around. And obviously the bigger the ship, the more the guns, the bigger the cargo bay, and so on and so forth. So the game, although it stays pretty much the same, it just gets bigger. It's the same game on a bigger scale. And it is fun. I'm having fun with it. There is the big problem of RNG, which is always prevalent in these type of games. Storms just appear out of nowhere, but that's how they do in real life anyway. And you can imagine in them days you didn't have the long distance weather forecasts that we do today, so you would see there was a storm there when you saw the clouds. That was pretty much the only warning you got, and that's pretty much the way it is now. You can look on the map and it can look all good, but then all of a sudden a storm can appear. And the problem with a storm is if you sail through a storm, not only will it slow you right down, but your morale will drop like a brick. And it's been game over for me sometimes going through a storm. If your morale's dodgy anyway and you hit a storm, you're in trouble. You can boost it by doubling the rations or giving your men rum. You also boost it by doing quests, but you're not going to do quests if you're stuck in a storm, so you're stuck on the rum. Now, another thing that you really need to know about this game is there's day and night cycles. Now, at night time, your men want to sleep. So if you start giving them jobs to do, they will not like you. They'll be like, what the hell, are you serious? There's no way I'm doing that. And they will do it, but their morale will drop. And all the time that it's night time, you'll be in probably a minus morale, which will tick down and could cause you big problems. So you have to, again, think about when it's night time, maybe it's just dropping all your sails, letting your men go into the bunks, try not to have an active quest, like at one of the main quests, because if you don't get to your main quests in time, because even the main quests, they come down the actual mast, and if the main quest gets to the bottom, the consequences are pretty dire if you don't complete one of your main quests. So there's management in this. It's all about management of your crew. That's the bottom line with this game. Manage your crew, look after your crew, keep the morale up, keep your ship well stocked, and try to avoid dangerous situations. Every time I've lost in this game, it's pretty much been the same. Absolute gang banged by 3 or 4 ships. And this is what I don't like about the game. When you get too close to a ship, you get kind of sucked into combat. There's nothing you can do about it. And when combat happens, you're given about 15 seconds to get your men onto the guns. Each gun requires 2 men. Now, if you've got your sails up, you probably don't have enough men. You have to quickly drop your sails, bring your men down from the sails, put them on the guns, and decide how many guns you're going to need. There's a percentage at the bottom, tells you what your percentage chance of winning is, but you've only got 15 seconds to do this, so you've got to quickly man a few guns, decide how many guns are going to open fire, look at your stores of gunpowder, see what you can afford, and hopefully sink the ship. You might get, it's all RNG, you might get a bit more gunpowder off the ship that you sank, if you're lucky. If not, you'll get none, and then you'll be kind of low on gunpowder. But the problem is, while you're doing that, if there's another ship near, it'll probably come in for a bit of the action too. So you sink one ship, and then there's another ship right on you. And this is what happened to me. I got a Spanish galleon just came straight in, and then another Spanish galleon came in after that, then a pirate ship, and I just couldn't cope with 4 big ships attacking me at the same time. And I ran out of gunpowder, my ship took a beating, and my men, I think, mutinied at the end of the day, and I lost the game. And that's happened to me pretty much every single game. And yes, it's my fault for sailing into an area where there's so many enemy ships, or pirate ships and enemy ships, which is the same thing, I guess. But sometimes you have to if your quest's there. So it's kind of it definitely is RNG. It's just bad luck if your quest's in an area where there's lots of enemy ships, and even a storm thrown in for good measure. It can just be brutal and just end your game. Now, you can choose to continue your game with massive penalties. You lose all your gold and supplies, and you lose a rank. And I've found pretty much that you're knackered once that happens, and it's best to just start again. So there you go. I can't review this because I don't know how much it's going to cost. So I can't say whether it's worth a buy, but all I know is that it is fun. It does get a bit repetitive. RNG is a killer in all games. It's just a bastard, it really is. But, you know, hey-ho, that's the name of the game, really. But if you're interested in this kind of stuff, bit like FTL, but not quite. You do level up your troops, like in FTL, your crew to Marines, and you can place forts down on islands that'll fire at enemy ships and stuff like that. So there is a bit more to it than that. It's a fun game. I mean, I like it. It's a fun game. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but keep an eye out for that. It's coming out later on this month. Oh, and before people cry, this isn't a sponsored video. I haven't been paid a penny for doing this video. I was just given a code for the game, and I thought it looked fun. So, you know, there's nothing else out really at the minute, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. So there you go, guys.